So ever since the SNL 50th anniversary and Tom Hanks getting endless backlash due to his portrayal of a Trump supporter that really backfired on his career, we have a lot of celebrities, a lot of personalities, those within the Hollywood bubble, the film industry, whatever it may be, that are beginning to comment on the Tom Hanks situation and everything going on in between, NBC, SNL, etc., etc. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, we already know that Tom Hanks got very defensive over the backlash. He really went into damage control mode about the definition of comedy, about what comedy is supposed to be like, and how people are acting very much uptight about the overall skit that he created or took part in on the SNL 50th anniversary. And look, you know what? We know at the same exact time, Tom Hanks for a very long time now has been bleeding fans because of getting way too political, mind you, not just within his own career, but also getting involved in something like this on SNL. So what's interesting here has a lot more to do with Jimmy Kimmel getting in on the situation with the Tom Hanks backlash and losing it over this whole scenario about everything going on from the public backlash to Tom Hanks losing fans now over this whole scenario. Let's get into this because Jimmy Kimmel, and I've expressed myself multiple times, is by far the worst late night television host in history. I've pointed this out many times. But moving on, alright? So what's really interesting about all of this is that we know one thing is that Jimmy Kimmel does everything wrong every single night, is that he always gets way too political in his career, he always dives into politics, when in reality he is nothing more than basically a talking head for ABC, which by the way is run and owned by Disney, and it's really not all that shocking, but let's move on. With the entire media and film industry now officially in financial hell, one significant development that is now going on involves more to do with Jimmy Kimmel, who recently commented on the Tom Hanks backlash and how he viewed the recent outrage over the 50th anniversary of SNL and his portrayal of a Trump supporter. Kimmel delivered the following. So have you seen all the trouble that Tom Hanks has been going through after that huge skit of MAGA Republicans? Yeah, I saw that too. I guess now he knows what it's like to deal with a bunch of crybabies that can't take comedy and, quite frankly, the truth very well. Let me just say one thing. Let me just say this. What Mr. Hanks did on SNL's 50th was by far the most accurate portrayal of MAGA in 2025. It was brilliant, and it seems like SNL struck a nerve, and this is why you are seeing this party get so defensive. We already dealt with this for 4 years, and I think it's going to give plenty of material for myself for the next 4. I guess that's the bright side of everything, is that when you have writer's block, or when your writers have writer's block, just look to MAGA, and you have endless opportunities. What Tom Hanks did on SNL, I commend him. I think he did a great service to our country for exposing MAGA for what they really are through the form of comedy. MAGA didn't find this comedy a bit funny at all, and I mean, can you really blame them? They are so uneducated. They don't even know the definition of comedy. And this is how extreme our country is right now. When you create one comedy sketch on SNL, poking fun at MAGA, then all hell breaks loose. No pun intended there from the words of our incompetent president. But it's true. I think that Tom Hanks and the backlash coming from his skit is the most ridiculous, childish thing I have ever seen in my career and throughout my life in show business. Now guys, before I move on about what Jimmy Kimmel is spewing here again, look, this is exactly why I never liked Jimmy Kimmel, especially when he got on late night, is that it was all about politics. It was always about getting way too involved in all of that. And here he is. I mean, we all knew that this was gonna come, that he would really just feed off of everything related to the Tom Hanks situation, and everything is always one side with Jimmy Kimmel. Same thing goes as follows with SNL. For the most part, more often than not, it's always one-sided material. That's one thing that I think Tom Hanks failed to deliver when he tried to explain the overall situation with the backlash and everything about his definition of comedy. Now, look, we know at the same exact time, Tom Hanks is losing a ton of fans over this, and you know what? I think that what he did on SNL was by far one of the most greatest mistakes by an actor. I think that what he should have done, he should have said no to this comedy bit if it was a little bit more fair. You know, we all know that there are a lot of inaccurate things there, a lot of falsehoods there, and SNL and NBC just love to do that. Everything is more often than not one-sided. So here we have Jimmy Kimmel again, getting very political, getting very much involved in politics on his late night show, which is every single night basically. He goes on to continue. MAGA is just so uptight, he says. They can't seem to get a joke. Well, it was a joke, but was it really? I think we just delivered the truth. NBC and SNL are working wonders to really waking up true Americans, and I think the minority of MAGA that remains very vocal tries to appear louder than they really are. I mean, this is what it's like in 2025 when you try to get involved in comedy. I say let's give a round of applause for Tom Hanks for doing an excellent job exposing MAGA for who they really are. We need to keep this form of comedy up. SNL, all I have to say is job well done. Job well done. You have my support through and through, and I hope we can keep having fun just like this. You know things are bad when MAGA supporters can't even laugh at themselves. That's how uptight they really are, and I think they need a ton of self-help books to better themselves. So guys, again, I mean, let me just pause here about Jimmy Kimmel before I get to the big conclusion. Jimmy Kimmel, alright, really is just feeding off of this, alright? We all knew that this was going to happen. It's really not a big shocker there. I mean, did anyone not see this coming? But again, Tom Hanks getting involved in this, the reason why it's backfiring is that there's a lot of tendencies that are really not true to a lot of supporters of President Donald Trump. And that's why a lot of people are getting very angry and getting very defensive over SNL and what they did. Now, sure, some people that are, you know, fans of Trump found this comedy bit funny. There are differing opinions out there, and that's fine. That's welcome below in the comments, by the way. It's all about fairness. That's all welcomed here. But what's interesting about this, again, is that we always know that more often than not, I like to say those words, more often than not, SNL and their comedy, at least when it comes to political comedy skits, it's really always one-sided for the most part. And we saw that just a couple of days ago with the 50th anniversary with Tom Hanks. So again, going back to what Jimmy Kimmel has to say to close, he says, but don't worry, in 3 years and 11 months, I think we are going to move away from all this nonsense when the American people realize just how many lies and false promises this presidency pushed forward. It has gotten out of hand. I mean, we basically have President Musk right now. How absurd is that? It's truly crazy to even think about that he is always in press interviews with Trump. Like, what? So there you have it again. I mean, now poking fun at Elon Musk, pointing the finger at Elon Musk for really just, you know, going on television here and there. Now again, Jimmy Kimmel, look, I think that there is a lot of things going on with him. There's been a lot of things going on this week. You know, have you not seen the Mark Hamill situation where he actually had a wardrobe malfunction? I don't know if you all saw that. That was pretty funny. But followed up by that, we had a lot of things going on here with the SNL skit and the backlash coming along with it. And SNL, they're bleeding fans right now. And you know what? Rightfully so. SNL has not been funny since like the 70s / the 80s, right around that decade time frame. I would say, yeah, 70s and 80s was the peak of SNL. And anything after that, once you approach the mid-90s, it really fell off a cliff, and it really has not improved since. That's my 2 cents on SNL. Mad TV always did it better, as far as I saw things. But everything, you know, in between here, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Jimmy Kimmel, Tom Hanks, NBC, and SNL. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.